Her name is Pavlina. Played one of Schumann's songs from childhood, and I played it a while back, and it just reminded me of how beautiful this piece is. So pretty. I came across this post saying the expected hard versus the unexpected hard. In my terms of navigating what's going on right now, I've reached a breakthrough. I've got invited to the showcase in Singapore. So the co-founder of Design Anthology messaged me saying, hey, you know, I would love for you to participate in this exhibit. There's a pre-selection, but, you know, like, please, you know, enter, I believe that blah, 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 blah. And so I made a design based kind of off a variation of a collection that I released at the start of the year called Equilibrium Totem. And I just remember after the having a talk with the curator, and it was just via Zoom, but I remember this disorienting silence that came over me, and I just burst into tears. Not in the fact that I knew that this was something that I worked so hard for, a dream of mine was achieved, but there was this deafening silence, and it was so overwhelming because it kind of feels like it feels like you've, like, I don't even know how to put it into words. I think I'm going to be sitting with that feeling because even till now I don't know how to navigate it. To be quite frank, I didn't even know what it is. It's weird, and kind of with how I see Senseware going on right now, and from everything that I kind of put out, a lot of my dreams are coming true. So, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, like a lot of the dreams that I had in place 3 years ago are all coming true. And I have to say that I just don't know how to react. Like, I'm grateful that, and I'm in disbelief that I am getting all of these opportunities, but at the same time, it's still, like I said, that deafening silence, and I don't even know, like how to, am I uncomfortable with the stillness, or there's just so much. But that's just like a little update on my behalf. So I'll showcase, this is the design that I did, and it was also the presentation that I showed. So here, the January show with Balai Kobu, I released my first collection after, I believe, a year and a half of not signing. It was called Equilibrium Totem, and it was just basically one of my grieving processes that I did. I did not want to, like, I didn't want the experiences to go, you know, I didn't want it to kind of stay in my body like entropy. Like, I wanted it to be released. I wanted the experience to be metabolized, absorbed, and had some sort of form or function. So I created Equilibrium Totem to grieve a failure of a relationship. Yeah, is that the word? So in technicalities, that was just the last, like, just like the last push of whatever I wanted. I wanted it out of my body. I wanted it out in the physical realm because, yeah, it was my grieving process. And I am not ashamed to say that that was what I did. I believe that it was, for me, the most personal work I've had because it told a story in its actuality. There was no hiding, there was no nothing. It was just vulnerable, and for me it was like the moment a shell cracks open, you know, and the pearl is revealed to the world. And as things progress, you know, I did not even expect to be seen, let alone perceived in such a great manner. I think that was a thing for me that was just kind of like uncomfortable because, you know, no one wants to talk about or no one really wants to grieve or carry their grief, you know, their grief. No one really wants to carry their grief. And most of the time, I would love for it to just be kind of like sitting at the backside of like the car. Like, you know, can I just like chuck it in the trunk and never experience it? But the thing is, I know myself, and I know that when I had dealt with grief in the past, it had to be metabolized, absorbed, or whatever way. If not, it becomes entropy, and it just becomes like unusable energy that becomes heavy and basically a burden, and it loses all form and function. Now, for me, now that I've reached the breakthrough, I have to be honest, there are times where I still feel it. Like, I question my peace, I question everything that's going on. And I say it to myself, healing is not linear. And it's hard. Like, it's so hard to be honest with yourself at this point in time. And definitely through creative works such as furniture design and lighting design. Now, the showcase that I put for Equilibrium Totem Eclipse is basically a hanging light that would be basically a centerpiece of a dining table. And like the design for me was because I still wanted to, I guess I still had a lot of stories left. And I'm not yet finished. So that's just basically where I'm coming from for Equilibrium Totem. I would say that this was the first time I was able to make use of words and sentences in design. As a designer, I was always kind of like copying and pulling from as much designers and inspiration, but this was the first time that I ever had my own speech. I ever had my own words and sentences that I had to compose. And there is so much power in that, you know, having so much power to transmute your pain into a physicality. It was amazing. But, you know, I'm not going to lie, your emotions still have weight and they come back every once in a while, and it's such a like it's such a surprising thing to feel. So yeah, that's just basically what's been happening with me. I'm very much excited for Singapore. I will be going there, but all of the opportunities, the abundance, I feel that it's about time. Not even, it just felt like it's coming in at the right time. But I think another thing is to sit with the stillness. There's no more plan of, you know, I feel like I've healed enough in this season. I feel like I could also just take a break. I basically did all the groundwork, and this is my season of rest, and let's see what happens. Let me just stand still. That's it. Let me just stand still and let me just see what the world has to offer, because it's just purely insane what I've experienced in recent days. But that's for another matter. But I feel like there is a equal disposition. Your old life will cost you your new life will cost you your old life. And I still kind of see it. I see how things are kind of falling apart to make way for something new. But at the same time, it's kind of like come on, let's clear it out. Let's see what you have to offer. I guess that's just my impatience talking, but I'm just like, let's clear it out. I want to see it. I want to see it. And I'm getting impatient. So I have to just kind of sit my ass down and just say, wait. So yeah, that's just my little update for this week. Yeah. It's so dark.